I'm about to watch your video. Since I know your ideas on IRV, I'm gonna answer in a way or make a comment before I even watch it. We need instant runoff voting. We absolutely need instant runoff voting or some other coercive voting like approval voting. Um, it's obvious. This is how third parties can run, get 20% of the vote, scare the major parties into reacting to the issue that they upheld, and sometimes someone's going to run as a third party and get a majority of the vote. And it might be times like this when people are very disappointed with the major parties. So I think that's very important, and it's too bad that we can't rely on I mean, you have Democrats now in control, and they lost in 2000 because of a lack of IRV, and you'd think that when they're in power they'd remember that and fix the system, but they don't want to because they remember times they won because of that. They remember, Bill Clinton or whatever. So they're not inclined to change the system because it would let third parties in and give, and it would break the hegemony of the two-party system where they get to rule together, and they'd rather share power with each other than with unknowns and people who might be, you know, not part of the cabal on all the issues that these two parties agree on. Another thing, by the way, is that we need fixed infrastructure. We need to have, I mean, we have post offices that are fixed. We don't just keep our mail in some church or gym. I mean, why are we toting around uh, election machines? Why do we still have to find bags of votes in the back of people's station wagons where, these should be carried in official government vehicles, just like the mail? Why are we taking we take more care out of the pennies and dollars that come out of an ATM than we do for our votes? I mean, we should have permanent uh, polling places where the machines stay year round. They should be electronic. They should print out a paper trail that the voter checks, and we should count votes to a 1 in 1 million accuracy instead of just a percent or two, which is hideous in this day and age. So I would add that as an important election reform thing. And we would, if we had such permanent infrastructure, what would we do in between elections? Well, I think one, it'd be a lot easier to have regular runoffs and stuff. It'd be a lot cheaper, and people that were elected officials could enter polls. And when people go into these polling stations and answer these public opinion polls, instead of them just being based on, some news organization trying to sell a story, these would be official opinion polls that elected officials could submit and then use the results of as official opinions of the public. Self-selecting, who goes to vote makes it non-scientific, but that's okay because our culture involves motivation. So those motivated to go answer the poll question would end up having more influence, and it wouldn't be meant to be a scientific measure of what everybody thinks. It would be a measure of what those motivated enough to give their opinion on their own think. And so, yeah, I'd like to see instant runoff voting, and I'd like to see a permanent, fixed election infrastructure.